Rita Cosby here in Warsaw, straight from New York. Welcome to Poland Daily Business.
I'm so happy to be here and to be back in my father's homeland. This is fantastic, and to be here on such a momentous occasion and an important occasion, reminding everybody never again. This is the 80th anniversary, of course, of the start of World War II, and to me it's a somber anniversary, but an important anniversary that the world should never forget.
You've been born and raised in the United States, yet you share this with every other Polish person in the world, that all our families, without exceptions, were affected by the Second World War, and we feel it until today. How is it for you? It's
very emotional for me. I mean, I was there, Alex, in Pilsudski Square. And for me, it was so profound. I mean, I literally was moved to tears when I was listening to President Duda and his words about how we can't ignore the warning signs, and talking about the phases of what happened in the war, the horrific evil that was thrust on this country. And then I also hearing Vice President Mike Pence calling it a homeland of heroes and talking about the Warsaw Uprising and the courage of the uprisers like my father. I was very, very emotional. And for me, when my father came back, the first time he came back in 65 years, the first place that he touched upon, other than the airport, we were checking into the hotel and we swung by the Tomb of the Unknowns, and my father got out of the car. So it was the very first place that my father came to in Poland when he returned after 65 years. And there were these young cadets there, just happened to be in the square at that time. And it was 2009. And I remember my father just looking fondly and hugging these cadets. And when they found out my father was an upriser in the Gestapo unit, they were just very, very appreciative and respectful and almost in awe of my father. And so I have such fond memories. So for me, as the daughter of a Warsaw upriser and as an American, as a very proud Polish American, it was extremely emotional and a day that I'll never forget. And I hope the world never forget. It was also
a very important event to show to the world the face of Poland, the face of Polish history, and the way it was organized, emphasized that. The number of leaders, the level of organization, the English language, that was parallel to Polish, so everyone could understand. I think that was an important factor. I think having it so much in English and having so many heads of state there showed the world that Poland is a leader in the world, it's a beacon in the world, that I reminded people too. And I thought President Duda did such a fantastic job of walking everybody through, explaining what happened. And I love the fact that there were many heads of state here from all corners of the earth. It showed that the world is unified against the good people of Poland, with the good people of Poland, that they will stand with the good people of Poland should this ever happen again, should there ever be an inkling of something like this ever again. And it's a message that we must stand together, that we must stand, the good people of the world. And that's why I thought it was so important to have an American leader here too, because it's a reminder, good people of the world, the two countries I love, Poland and America, have to stand together and say to the world that we are unified, that in the future, should there ever be an inkling of anything like this, that we must defend, that we have these alliances that are unbreakable. And having it in the English language, I thought was pivotal, because then everybody in the world could hear about the incredible story of bravery that is Poland. That's not just an example within Poland, but I think is an example for the world that you can go up against horrible odds, you can go up against unimaginable evil, and you can stand and thrive. And that's the message of Poland. And it's a great story to share anywhere. It's a universal message. And I was glad to see that it was in English because of that, so everybody could absorb it. Yes, and I was also thrilled that Vice President Pence is coming because of his moral stand, because of his religious beliefs. And that is something new in the world, because we have these hedonistic heads of states, people without any morality, and yet we see the world is turning and the leaders are setting the moral example, which I believe Mike Pence is absolutely the case.
Absolutely. And I thought it was really beautiful here in the square where he talked about the faith of the Polish people. And he talked about the common values, the common Christian faith, and the fundamental values of family, and believing in something so much bigger than yourself, and the core Christian values. And I think about also, Alex, even in my father's time. My father, when he said one of the very few things that survived the war was the Black Madonna of Czestochowa, that my father wore a pendant on his neck when he was in the POW camp. And I still have that pendant, and I look at it every day. But it was absolutely my father's faith, my family's faith, that helped my father get through it. And I think that that's what makes this country so incredible too, is that it's a country of deep believers, of Christian faith, of people who love each other and appreciate family and appreciate good values. And that is, I think, also the beacon of Poland.
Yeah. When you see your activity, especially as a Polish American, it's really amazing, because I think there is a few initiatives you wouldn't support in this area. I mean, you support pretty much everything you can afford to have a time for and so on. Mm-hmm. Do Polish Americans have something to say, something to show to the other Americans of other ethnicities in America?
I think so. I think that there's a universal message that comes out of Poland of determination, of spirit, of standing on principle. We've seen it in Poland time and time again. We saw it in my father's time. We saw it in solidarity. We've seen it in so many moments throughout history where Poles have stood strong against unbelievable odds. And that, I think, it's funny, maybe because I was born in America, I can look at it a little bit from the outside, yet also feel a part of it inside, because so much of my heart is here in this country. But whenever I share the story of Poland, and I love sharing the story of Poland, people are in awe. People go, oh my gosh, when they hear that the uprisers were fighting with Molotov cocktails and sticks against the most brutal war machine in the world, and fighting not just the Germans, but also fighting the Russians. And here we are geographically in the middle of these two, and yet here today, Poland is thriving. And I think when you hear the story of unbelievable courage, it's not just a typical war story. A lot of countries have sadly gone through war. The story of Poland's war story is unique, it's unbelievable, and I think it can serve as a role model for the world. And I think it serves as a beacon for any ethnicity that you can overcome unbelievable odds, and you can thrive.
Well, Rita, thank you very much for being part of this show. Rita Cosby.
Always an honor to be with you.
I'm so glad that you came to Warsaw and have found this little time for our station.
Always. For Poland, always.
Thank you very much. That was it for Poland Daily Business tonight.